Hey YouTube! How are you all doing? I'm hoping very, very well. I do know that it is a Monday, so it's probably going a little bit slow. But over here it is 3 p.m., so if you're watching this, you probably did make it through the day. So yeah, high five! I'm very excited right now to do my first vlog, and I'm also very excited to talk about the subject that I picked. Like in my introduction video, I said that I like to have intellectual conversations, so I do like to pick a controversial subject. You know, we live in America and we have the freedom of speech, so you might as well just take advantage of that and say how you feel. So, by the title, you can see that I'm going to be talking about are pit bulls really bad animals? First thing I want to start off by saying, I have little notes down here just to help me so I don't lose track, is no dog is a bad dog. And I know that sounds very strange, but the true facts are, and this is from what I've learned, I actually volunteer at the Humane Society, and you have to take classes. They don't teach you too much, but you do learn a lot along the way from the people there. So, back to what I was saying, no dog is a bad dog, and that's the fact is dogs do not have necessarily a conscience. They think for the now. Dogs just distinctly react on their instincts. You know, they don't really think things over. If they're scared, they're going to bite. You know, there's no such thing as a bad dog, like a criminal who's like, ooh, I will go and bite people and destroy them and whatever. I guess destroying would be a little far, but you know, you get what I mean. They don't plan things. They're just for the now. Second to say is that this is kind of a little thing, but there's a huge misconception that pit bulls have a locked jaw, which is like, so they can just bite onto you and their jaw just locks and you cannot get it off. It's like a deadlock. That's been proven wrong. It's not true. Though, what is true is that, and sadly, you know, I don't like to say it because then people are like, oh, look, see, I told you, is the fact that pit bulls' bites do hurt more and do more damage than other dogs' bites. And that is a reason that they were the breed that was picked for pit fighting, hence the name, because they do have a crazy jaw set and it does hurt. The fact is, though, is that there is never a bad dog, there is just a bad owner. When it comes to pit bulls on the media, they are definitely blown out of proportion. See, I believe it was in the 80s, it was the German Shepherd and also the Rottweiler that were attacked by the media, and these are media bullied dogs. And it just happens, it just goes through a phase, and German Shepherds were considered just to be just as bad as pit bulls. And they were just biters, and they were bad dogs, and they attack you. And same with Rottweilers, and also ones that aren't picked on by the news but are also known for biting a lot is, well, Chihuahuas, but since of their size, no one really minds, and Poodles, which you wouldn't expect because Poodles are just like fluffy and they're known for being all dressed up and stuff. What you have to get in your mind, though, is that all dogs bite. That is just a fact, that there isn't really a breed that bites more than the other. Like I was saying, that dogs, they don't really have a conscience, there isn't a bad dog, they just react off of how they're feeling. So there are certain dogs that have different energy levels, which, depending on how you're helping them release that or deal with it, can lead to different tempers. So when it comes to a pit bull, pit bulls have tons of energy, tons of strength. I mean, if you've seen a pit bull, they are just pure muscle. You look at their back legs and they're just like thick, just little balls of muscle. And they need to release their energy. They need to have activities. They need to be trained. They need a good owner. And there are tons of different dogs that have different things that need different owners. So you might have a distressed pit bull that's not getting enough energy release, and it might become frightened, and it might snap. And that would happen with any dog. But the thing is, bulls have a harsher bite that it does more damage. But it's not the fact that they're a bad dog, it's just that they have those features about them that make it worse for them. Also, what is bad is that there is overbreeding. And that is a bad thing because when dogs are out roaming the streets and they're wild, they do bite. And any dog will do that. So there is an overbreeding of pit bulls because mostly people who have pit bulls sadly use them for the wrong reason when it comes to being aggressive, when it comes to protecting a empty lot or something, or an empty property, or if it comes to pit bull fighting. And they just let them breed and they don't take good care of them, and then they're roaming the streets and they're wild dogs and they bite people. So there are a lot of programs actually right now that you can get your pit bulls sprayed or neutered for free, which I would highly suggest. I'll try to find a website for them and put them down at the bottom so you can check them out. Well, another misconception is that pit bulls are more aggressive than other dogs, which pretty much relates back to everything else that I was saying, is that there really isn't a bad dog, and a dog will bite you just in the moment out of its instincts. You know, if you're scaring it, it's going to bite you. And there might be other factors behind it, such as that it's been stressed out or hasn't been trained properly. And that just goes back to also the pit bull fighting and it being a bad owner, is the fact that pit bulls were used for pit fighting, and they still are today. And that just gives them this horrible reputation. What happens is they just let the dogs go after they're done. You know, there are so many bad conditioned dogs found and rescued from pit fighting, which actually pit bulls can be rehabilitated. You know, they can be taken in and be aggressive, but put through therapy and they'll be better. What I'm trying to say before I get a little bit off topic is just that, like I've said a million times, is that it's a bad owner, not a bad dog. These bad owners in pit bull fighting have given them a crazy reputation, a very, very bad one, and it is not their fault. The reason I really just wanted to bring this up is because I did go to the Humane Society over the weekend, and I saw, I'm not sure the dog's name, but I saw this cute, cute, cute little pit bull, and she was so, so sweet. All she wanted to do was just lick us. I mean, she was just, when you would leave, she would start whining, and then when you would put your hand in, she would just start licking it like crazy. I was researching a little bit about pit bulls, and it is actually proven that they're one of the dogs, or the top dog, that likes to give the most kisses. They're just so kissy, like all they want to do is just lick you. So I thought it was very sweet, and I thought it was very inspirational because, like I said, in Humane Society we are not allowed to stereotype dogs, and I do not at all, because that's just wrong. Pretty much my conclusion, in my opinion, is that yes, that a pit bull has a very, very strong build and a very, very deadly jaw, and that's just the way that the animal was formed and created. But the fact is that pit bulls are not bad dogs, and they're not more aggressive than the other dog. They just need good training, you know, good energy releasing activities to do, and, you know, a good owner, just like any other dog. Because if you do not train your dog well, or at all, or you are mean to it, or teach it bad traits, it will bite. And again, you know, pit bulls are just bullied on the news. So soon it'll be maybe like 10-20 years and it will pass and it'll be something else. So thank you for watching this video, and I would love it if you left your opinion, you know, whether or not it's agreeing or disagreeing. You know, try to be a little more on the mature side, but either way, leave your opinion and I will love to read it and reply. So thank you. Bye.